Here's 5 minutes after the top of the hour. Coming into the last session of the week for the forex, really could get a retrace out of things if they unfair value. Sometimes they'll just keep going unfair. So the pauses would be the place you could get in. Here I'm running a 5-pip grid. So you could build all your scripts around 5 pips. And that's a plan, you know. It sounds really stupid, but it's simple. You can risk 2 pips to make 5 pips, but you'd be hard pressed to just keep never getting stopped out of that trade. Probably better to, instead of trading the 4-hour chart, just take the 1-hour chart and don't delete any of the markings. So in essence, you can see the drama that was played out in a mini auction. Accumulation distribution phases are their own auction into themselves. So this is when, you know, like people say conspiracy, whatever, people get together, but there's just kind of like this meandering. You get a doji now, we could continue going. The thing about a flag, it's a continuation pattern. So people say, hey, I got a flag, which means they're not thinking that that's the top. They're saying a flag's a doji, is a, you know, just fill in the blank. There's only 2 things going on in these markets. It's either not going anywhere or it's ripping your head off. You're either making money on the rip or you're losing on the rip. So it's either ripping or it's dead. There's no other thing. It's like it's either on meth or it's in a coma. There's stuff in between, right? But the thing that would, the dynamic between those 2 situations is where you're going to make the money for a breakout trader. And you might even have limits getting filled where you think the market's going to ricochet off. But here you can see, with just going back, this is basically a 4-hour, more than 4 hours. In fact, I'm buying, and my first target needs to be this low, which if you take into account the previous price pulse, which is that 1 hour where it went up a little bit, right here, that's a doji. It's a doji on the 4-hour. Right, just go to the 4-hour and boom, right? Paused here, you can't see it. Doji on the 2-hour, right? It doesn't matter. It's just about the market going sideways. There's no magic to a doji. It's how you play it and how many pips is your stop. So is this doji on the, here's a top become a bottom on the 15. So it's this is a lot of work, the 15-minute chart, but you can see the structure, right? Head and shoulders. The story here is, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? That's the old story. But we can actually see what came first here, the chicken or the egg, because you see the fill here, retests, goes ripping up. Scalpers get out of the previous doji, which is a small bar. Comes back up. Only chance to buy is this breakout of this doji. Inverted hammer, what have you. Boom. Comes back up to this doji, fills there. It's a racquetball game. It's an aerial view of a bunch of football players playing out plays. Whatever you want to think this is, it's just range trading. 80% of this market is buying here and selling here, buying here and selling here. So the rhythm of this thing is as follows. This is supposed to become a bottom in time. When the market comes back up here and stops on the 15, people are like, is that going to keep tanking? Uh-oh, no. Bam. You got to have your orders at the 5-yard. This is 5-yard line. This is 5-pip grid. Here, no fill, but you knew you had to start buying here on wicks. 15-minute chart. Now, the 1-hour story, you might just see 1 wick, and that's it. 1 wick and gone. So breakouts in the 4-hour chart, very, very rare to get a wick entry for our chart. You're not going to overtrade it. It's the Gartley entry, right? I mean, can anybody fucking see this? You're just buying new lows. You put a buy limit here. You don't know if it's going to keep tanking. If you want to surmise that this is the head, this is the shoulder, this is the shoulder, whatever you need in your brain to make it okay to pull the trigger here, or just to put a buy limit at a pullback area, just put them in. Okay, 5 pip grid, right? You just put the orders in. Oh, shit, I can delete this. You just put the orders in, and this is 5 pips, so you know. See, they just trapped these guys. Sellers came in there. Why would it come back if sellers didn't come in? Now you're going to wait 15 minutes, and maybe it holds this fair value. It's caught in the middle. We've had an attempted breakout, but it's a trap pullback. Somebody scalped that, right? Somebody that's good at that trade. They're up in the trade right now, right? You see who's up on what trade. You can see inside the 15-minute. Oh, now they're killing it. Why are they killing it? Because they sold at resistance, right? Up here. They're just a couple pips. If you're trading big enough, you're making money. And it's going to come back here and the buyers come in, and then the sellers come in. Gee, what a surprise, huh? So the question is, are you big right now? Did you just sell big based on that 15-minute wick trap? Did you buy down here? Are you holding because you got in with all your orders like this? Or you got buy stops and sell stops bracketing a larger time frame, and you're willing to get your nuts crushed when it breaks out, pulls back, and does this shit. Right? So you want to play it, you want to be Mr. Safety, huh? I like these people that want to conservatively trade this breakout. Okay, how'd that work out for you? Oh, no, I'll just get in here. Okay, how you liking it now? So you have to see this support here, this doji, carry that forward. This is the feeding zone. You always have to be getting in here, and you always got to be taking something off the table, even in midstream, before you get to the outside of the auction. So it's the ability to trade this is how you make a bunch of money, because it's the guy that can make money on that, and then he can trade a breakout and let it ride on some mathematically small enough position. It's not going to blow up the whole account. See, buy limits here. You're padding the account. You surmise that on the larger time frame there could be a retrace coming, but look at all the fills in 15 minutes, in out, in out. Now the spread is just tight enough now that you can make money from this. You got your finger on the trigger. Buy at the market, sell at the market, buy at the market, sell at the market. You're still going to have to wait 15 minutes, though. Like here, you had to wait for the market to come back and fill all these buy limits that you put in here. You put like a 10K in here of different exits. Okay, that's all you got to do. It sounds simple, right? You're always putting your orders in here within a 5-pip window with 3-pip stops, right? 15-minute chart, trading really big. Look at all the money here. Do you need to have, like, who needs to know anything else? Everything else is overrated. Oh, but look back here. Oh my God. See, too much data, right? Too much data. You can only make money right here and now. That's the 15. Gee, it looks like it's trying to break out. So, you know, if you stack these up, you got a 4-hour. See, here's the doji, right? Here's the wick. There's a wick. Then you have this bracket. Once we take out those, whichever way this goes, up or down. But if we're going to retrace up into this hole now, first we got to get through this block. Yeah, you know. I mean, if you get to here, you're killing it, right? Because you're 50% out of the hole. You know, looking at the sell-off here, what is this? How does your moving average like this shit? You know, if I see another moving average, you know, I love when people say I use it as a guide. I'm what? Guide. Yeah, that's like the guy that's doing shots at the bar. I go, you know, did you measure that out? He just holds the thing upside down for a certain amount of time. I guess that's... Look at this thing. Honestly, it's almost as if this is resistance up here. Total engulf. Full auction the other way. And didn't care about holding this price. And look at the vicious smash down here. There's a classic 15-minute stairway to hell. You know, break this trend line. You know, got to get on this thing, man. Every time it's up, you're selling. If you're a bear, every time it's up, you're selling without regard. Here, sell. Beautiful. Every time it's up, 15, sell at the market. Bottom, top become bottom, sell. Bam. Look at this wick. So maybe you got buy stops here. Maybe you got sell stops here. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to do the mob. They don't really know you. They don't out to get you, but they will get you. The mob is fucking retarded. The masses are asses, right? So why not put a buy limit right here, right now? This is fair value for the 15-minute drama here. We could still kick back and wash out every putts that has a stop in. And you want to put an order limits down here just for the scalp back to this floor. So you're getting in here, your target's there. Now you just sit and wait. It's a waiting game. Waiting for the 15 minutes to resolve here. Here's a half hour. Same sideways mess. Look at this stop hunt. Some poor son of a bitch had a stop here on the 5-minute. Well, they cleaned his clock. Bye-bye. Yeah, thanks for putting your order there. Of course, that's what people think. People, I guess, is so paranoid. But yeah, this is a great place to buy. Comes here. So somebody just sold up there. They're up on the trade. Go figure. Everybody's winning and everybody's losing. It doesn't look like a zero. You know, it looks like everybody's making money here. Look at these plunge orders earlier. You just keep running a script that lasts like 3 hours down here. Just trolling for... So you put in a grid. You buy this whole 5 pip range here. Right. 5K. Right. And just keep layering that up. And then you're going to sell when it comes up here. So you're just range trading it. Sadly enough. And right here, you're getting in at the market, or you're getting out. Maybe it trades right in this middle area is your exit. So the middle here, and you got a beautiful pin bar doji here, just from the volatility. But see, the inverted hammer, if you put a buy stop here and a sell stop there, they chopped you out. So candle patterns don't work, but volatility works. You start talking about hammers and shit. I shouldn't even have it on there. I actually should have just the bars on here. I think I turned off that setting to change the style. So here, let's go to line chart. Just pure bars, right? You know, I really shouldn't have those on there because I really don't trade candles. It's too disturbing. Keep thinking I'm at a restaurant or something. So here I could focus on the top-bottom theory better here. Yeah. Okay, so here's the window. There's the fair value window. Here's your sell limits and your buy limits, right? Okay, we're waiting for the market to possibly break out, and then people are going to be selling up at the top here, making their 7 pips as you fill this void possibly. So a burst to here, they'll trap here. What typically happens is once it comes in top of this wick, that's where the fucking sellers are. Duh, right? Pop it up there. People are taking profits. And maybe it's such a forceful move that they rape it, you know. It breaks the pelvis. It break a headboard. Or they rape it down. So it's either, you know, the thing, you just don't know what you're going to get. Here's the half hour, which, you know, a 15-minute chart tells a story. Shows you fair value here down the middle. You can just block that off. Real easy. So, range trader's dream. For the past, how long have we just been meandering? Kind of losing that spike low from earlier, though. That was quite the smash out, wasn't it? Okay, so I would be buying and selling in the middle here and dumping on the edges. You just have to figure where you're going to get out. Make 5 pips, make 10 pips, just start trading really big. If you're going to babysit this market in Asia, you know, you can just make a ton. It's kind of quiet. You can't trade like that with 3 pip stops when the market's not screaming, right? You have to be throwing in limits here. You can see 20 pip grids here to capture this shit when this drama is coming down the pike. This is, you know, this low exists over here. So what you do is you throw a grid in starting here. You take a cursor, put that limit drop and have it just come in with a psycho grid. Here I'm buying every 10th of a pip. All these orders are laid in, super diffused, and since this is a 5 pip grid, you know, your grid would come in a 1 pip apart. You just have to come in with the other one layered with different targets, though. And maybe they stopped you out, so you have to have maybe a 30 pip stop and to make 20. But you're going to cover this box, right? This is what they call the kill zone, I think. But yeah, kill zone's going to have a bunch of fucking armor. You know, you got to have bullets and shit, dry powder. You know, you got depth charges, you name it, right? All this shit's down here. Scalps. You got something that's some big fat fucking order. It gets out for a little bit. The other one's going to go for the gold, right? It's going to go for, hey, we're going to come back all the way back to this high. Remember that high? So you're buying this, and there's your ratio, right? You risk this to make this. Better than break even. But all this stuff, you know, hand placing. What does it take to hand place a buy limit here? I don't know how quiet the market was here. The spread might have been really shitty. But on a fixed pip broker, you know, your classic bucket shop, which you can clean up. If you know how to trade, there's no such thing as a bucket shop. You either know how to trade or you don't, right? You can't blame your business on the fact that, you know, I just can't seem to buy stuff for my place that makes sense. Every time I buy a light bulb, it burns the place down. You know, well, maybe you got a problem there, right? So all that stuff matters when you're trading. So here you just range trade this whole. Jesus Christ, my Lord, man! I got this computer that's like on fire. What the fuck? My God, man! Ridiculous. Never seen things run so hot. No wonder people's laptops. And Jesus. Oof. And just use that for breakfast cooking. Just put a ceramic housing on that fucking laptop and get yourself a slow burn 30-minute egg. Okay, so 5 minutes before the bottom of the hour. Really critical here. Something goes on over there, that big deal, and we're going after the bear stops now. Going to try to kick the bears out, break out of this sideways block. So here's the trading block. You're in the trading block. Anybody that's ICT, you're in the block at all times. You're in the Borg. This is the sad thing. It's like the Matrix. You're in it. So what do you do about it? So here, you know, if you're holding long from here, you're just hoping they break this one wick, and you can get some follow through, some drama, and you start to cut in, and then that's almost 10 pips. You know, the lofty goal for the bulls is to come up here and chop that wick. But if you think about 5 pips, you just trade bigger, right? Nobody has time to wait for a fucking setup on a monthly Gartley, okay? You know, you could just be walking around with a cane and you're just going to be like on feeding tubes, waiting for that setup. Okay, looking for a retrace here to 5 pips, right? Oh, 5 pips up. I'm going to put some goober buy stops in here. I forgot I was actually in the demo. But yeah, these are kind of terrible. See, these stops are far away. The first ones are the scalps here. That's the 6K. And as you go up, now this is really the worst place to buy. You really should have loaded up here in the middle of the road. So I'm chasing it now. It's not good. Here's continuation on the dollar yen. Right? Who can see this coming? It won't stop going. I talked to somebody about RSI here. Here, 3-paired RSI. Here's the setup. You're looking for more oversold, and the price is either higher or it's a it is a double bottom here. The price is actually just about the same here. And you have a triangle here, and if you put buy stops in here, but I'll be selling right now. If I was in this, I'd be getting the fuck out. Honestly, they just trapped everybody on this. So you got to get out of these trades. I know you don't want to. I know you think it's going to the moon. Like I heard some bozo today saying that the Bitcoin was going to the moon. So here's a top become a bottom here. No signal from RSI other than this is more oversold here, but the price is not in total compliance with that. So that's I would be selling up here for sure. And look where you're at. You know, you're just up in Disneyland on this thing. Yeah, in fact, the see this? This is what I was talking about. I was talking to somebody about this when this happened. Right here. Buying here was pure genius. The new low coming in, and you just never got any better than that. 15 minutes in. This was the other chance to get on board that train. I'm just going to put this onto a line chart. It's just easier for me to look at a bar chart, to be honest with you. No offense to candle traders. I don't care when the market opened. I care where. I care the ATR, and I care where. So you'd be selling right now. So I am selling. I'm actually short this thing. So I put sell limits up here. And they lasted for all that time. So I sold that ahead of time. I knew I wanted to sell high. So this what I'm saying is so stupid and simple that it's just hurting people's idea of what should be. Because it doesn't make sense, right? How can you just sell if it's going higher? Well, what would you say to anybody that sold this? Every time this went up, they sold. They sold in blocks, order blocks. Your order blocks. You got stopped out of this one. This one you made a ton, right? Presupposing the targets for that order block were all the way back to here. So what you can do is to build a trade plan that lasts 4 hours or last a day, right? If this is 6 times 4. This is 24 hours. This is 1 day. And you're willing to sell a 46 pip range. You've got that script, okay? If you loaded that script here and your targets are like this, right? You can see that if you stay with that trade all the way to here, how's that trade, right? This is how you find entries. You don't look for a fucking Gartley and then get out your risk tool. You get out your risk tool and you look for a place, you get out your trade plan, which is this. This is your entry window. And your exit profits are here. I don't know if I can glue these together. There was a If you double click these on a triangle. But anyways, if you could have that together, right, in one solid monolithic thing, you're looking to get in here, right, and you're looking to make, but imagine this is like $1 million position, and your exits look like this. One of them's like this, you know. I mean, look at that trade. Are you kidding me? The same story here. You've got a sell limit grid up here. Maybe you are selling at the market up here when this top becomes the bottom, right? Perfect. Double bottom becomes the top. It's not the best color. Perfect becomes the top. That's your entry window. You're looking to risk this much money. 46 pips. Here's 62 pips of brutality. You're willing to buy this much to make, and you won't see all those wonderful targets maybe. This is why you have to be getting out of something along the way. There's absolutely no way. How do these people claim they're making, like, you got out, in fact, you got out early. If you got in there and your exits were like this and you didn't realize that very top ticket, so what? You're putting in buy limits like this. You don't know where the fuck it's going. This was a complete moneymaker had you bought here in limits yesterday when the fucking news came out. Right? It's just, it's, you just put the orders in. And staying with this thing, like, you can only imagine the people that had bought this on the news, that this low is a very important price. Gee, I wonder why there was a little confusion there. Yeah, because people got the fuck out. I did. This is my first target. It could have been my whole target if I bought so much down here that is mind-blowing. Right? It's just really just structure trading. This skeleton in the market is closing prices. I don't think I can do another candlestick video after tonight. I get so depressed when I think about all the money I lost with the fucking candlesticks. Fuck. That bullshit. I mean, I take those Steven Neeson books and use them for fucking lighting cigars. How would it ever fucking help? It never fucking helped me. Look, you got a hammer. I thought the hammers are cool because if you have a chart, everything looks like a hammer. I thought I'd turn this fucking thing off. God, it's still hot. Oh, well, what do you want? Should put like one of those nitrogen coolers on a laptop. That'd be funny. Show up at the airport with that. No, it's not a bomb. It's a cooler for my fucking cheap laptop. Okay, looking for the retrace on this. We breaking out. I'm getting these lousy fills, and they're trapping me, bastards. If you ever been trapped in a breakout and gotten your head ripped off, you're kind of shy about breakouts. So you really do want to get in before the breakout on something at the market. When the market's dead in the water, when it's going sideways, when it's dead. Put on a hedge or get in if you think it's going up or down. Then, if you want to add on stops as some kind of confirmation so your parents don't get mad at you, need be, but always put the limits in. And the Asia trade scripts are going to be very quiet, very big, very scalpish. When the market's on fire during the day, you're going to trade wide with small orders to compensate for the dollar risk. Okay, if you want to, this is presupposing you have $1,000 or risk a day or whatever you want to risk. So you want to make $2,000, you want to risk $1,000. Maybe not on one account, right? You got a swing account, you got this account, the other account you're not. You put some grid in, you're just going to step away from it, right? put it on a laptop that doesn't overheat, and then, so, you know, I guess you got to be realistic, you know. Do you see yourself babysitting? You see yourself building a position in a quiet thing and, you know, making 10% of your, or making 20% of your trade on the first burst out of the gate, and then having the option to close the whole trade down if you think that it is a trap. Like, you know, people are screaming and running. It's a really, you know, fire. So here we could be getting trapped, but we know where the sellers are going to come in. They'll trap the breakout traders that are trading the breakouts on the 4-hour, coming up on a 4-hour ledge. And those guys might make money. It may break so hard that they get filled and never looks back, and they go, yeah, see, I waited for confirmation, you didn't. You're too aggressive. Well, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, have an aggressive button, have a pussy button, have a pussy trade, and have a I'm gonna smack you upside the head trade. You know, have the full spectrum. You know, they call it cross training. You know, your body, once it learns something, it atrophies. So it does no good to keep, you know, going to the gym, you know, getting on a machine. You know, once your body learns that move, if you're not sore, you know, you're not, like, if it doesn't hurt, then you're doing it wrong. So how can you tell you're doing it right? It hurts. How can you tell, you know, these trades that take forever, it seems like, to unfold, if you're in something that you're expecting a certain outcome? But even the ones that are very short-lived, if you're scalping it, you know, you gotta be coming to the terminal every hour, looking at the 15-minute chart. You can see, you know, just because you're on the 1-hour chart doesn't mean you look at the chart every hour. You can just look at the chart every 4 hours, a 15-minute chart, and you can see the whole story. You have the inside. It's like you're looking into the pit. You can see the noise in the pit. You can see all this back and forth here, and maybe you want to trade that. Or maybe you're loading up here and you're looking for a burst up, and then you know you have to dump because you already know where it's gonna this thing's gonna die. As soon as we go to 111.60, it's over. Right? We're cashing out up there. I hand it off to the bears. The bulls go into the bears' den, back and forth here. Constantly raiding, constantly smashing people out. Market's very efficient. Doesn't want to stay. It's very, very much like a brat, and incorrigible, really, just all over the fucking place. Chaotic, not something you'd want to have as a. You wouldn't want to claim ownership, right? So you're riding this chaotic freight train, basically. Gonna wait for the top of the hour, see if we can break through. That's about 2 minutes before the top of the hour, and we're going for the run here. So they trapped me for a little bit on those stop entry fills. It pulled back a little bit. Can't see it here, but it filled it. Now we gotta hit that those wicks up there, right at the top of the hour. Pop through the wicks there. And then sellers are going to come in immediately. Right? 5 minutes after the top of the hour is a big deal because the 5-minute traders are in. The 1-hour traders in. Everybody's in on this. This looks like a terrible fill up here. Compared to the 15, doesn't look so bad. The 30-minute looks like, oh, you know what? Somebody. 1 hour, it's like, oh, yeah. But we gotta, in the next 2 minutes, you gotta get to this number here. Okay, so the market has retested the bottom of this 15-minute. So it's been about, I don't know, 10 hours. And once again, this proved to be here was where I left off in the video was I put some buy limits here. I said these were the goober entries. This is the breakout trap trade. So right here is where I left off in the video. Getting filled here, and I said, oh, they're trapping me. We never made it to this breakout point. Now this would be the breakout point on the larger time frames. And so I had to put buy limits in as we came down here, and I blocked off this area here for limits. So we got filled here, and as this walked down and chopped everybody out at the bottom of that 15-minute so it actually made a newer low here by about 2 pips. See right here, right on that wick, that was the new low. And so this whole area down here. So then I loaded up the wagon here and buy stops, buy limits, got filled. Didn't do any raw trading this week. Everything was all scripts. So I made about $3 grand. This moves up here, and look where it comes to in the scalpers. Just like I said, here comes the scalpers off of that little wick there by about 1 pip. Half a pip there. They rip it back to here. It comes back to the starting gate of this internal range. So I didn't change any lines here. Here it blows through. They trap down here. We get in. Then blows through, pulls back out top, bottom. I just bought a little bit more here on the pullback. So I dumped everything this morning on this move here. It's a 15-minute chart. So if you don't delete your objects, so the big picture, and here once again the floor, right? This is where everybody's going to bail, right about there, and the next target's going to be right there. And right now, I could just hit close all profits. Looks like we're not going to make our targets. I think I still got some lingering stuff here. Other currencies. Here's the dollar yen meandering up here. You got divergence on the RSI. Kind of running out of gas there. Still going north though. Still going north. Dollar CAD. I think I got a buy limit there. I ran some of these. So if you turn this onto a line chart, you'll see the entries coming as balls here. So it's buy at the market. Here's buy on limits. Here's limits. The super deep limits. And that's all she wrote. It's a story here. British pound, not going anywhere. Range trader's dream. Just complete bullshit. Here was the place to put your buy limit. Should be obvious. I don't know if you got filled here. I don't know what the spreads are. Buy. There's the trap. Sell right there. There's a sell. There's a sell. Here's a buy. So see, the range traders are cleaning up. Here's a trend and then range, right? 20% trend. Right? Here's a trend. Wonderful, right? Pulls back to the doji before one more move. But for the most part, this kind of trading is what's in force. Is just range garbage trading. Alrighty then.